I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
I am your father.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal. Avengers!
Assemble.
How's it going, everybody? We're back. FinaticFilms podcast episode. I don't even know. I lost track, and I haven't even done 10 yet, and I've already lost track. But we are back another week. And what a week it was. What a week this is. I mean, for me, in my life, for everyone, just, you guys all know if you follow me on Twitter, I like to give updates on this podcast about what I've been doing. I started my job this week. It's all big time, just moved. Great. I mean, it's awesome. But we'll talk about that another day. Today, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter one. It's a little late at night. We all got things we got to do tomorrow. But we are joined by all the guests from Movie Drafts this week. We got Chris, the co-host. Chris, how you doing?
Doing great. Excited to keep the conversation going. We were having a great one. Hopefully that flows right on over into this. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then we got Nick from Nick Talks Flicks is over here as well. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to keep talking to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, and then we got Nathan Hale on here as well. How you doing, man?
I am doing great, and I'm surprised that I've been given the permission to continue on to the podcast after how crazy I was on the stream.
Well, see, so that's the point I was going to start with today, because the podcast goes up on Wednesday. The draft will be up on Tuesday, so everyone's already seen it. This, in my opinion, was the all-time draft. This is draft number 5, and it has already taken the claim, and I don't think anything will top it, maybe for a while, as an all-time draft. The moments, the laughs, it was just fantastic. So yes, you were both, Nick and Nate, were both happily welcomed back because it was absolutely fantastic. And Chris obviously is always going to be back because he's the man. But yeah, we'll talk about movie drafts real quick. And like I said, this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode because we all got things we got to do. So we'll gloss over movie drafts real quick, but then we got the big topic to talk about. But we'll get there in a minute. I just want to get everyone's thoughts. How did we feel about this draft overall? I mean, I'll give my thoughts real quick. We didn't know a lot of these movies. We have not seen a lot of these movies. 1994 is a great year for film, but a year that I think for a lot of us has been very unwatched. I made the comment in the draft that after I took Legends of the Fall, I said I hadn't seen a film since my 3rd round pick with the Santa Claus. But I still think it's a great draft. So I'll start with Nathan. How'd you feel about the draft overall?
Yeah, no, I think it went really well. I think that all of our choices are really good and very diverse. And because of what we chose, each of us have a huge, iconic, masterpiece. And then we all have, I feel like we all have like a cult classic. And we all have movies that are going to speak to a certain crowd. And so I'm very curious to see where this goes. I'm looking at Letterboxd right now. And from 1994, I have seen 18 movies. And so like you said, and obviously not a lot of those made the draft because one of them is Barney on Imagination Island, the movie, when I saw that as a kid. But, a lot of good movies to talk about, but a lot I haven't seen and a lot I want to see now. So I'm actually really happy we talked more about this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo everything you said there, but I think this was the first draft, which is weird because a lot of the drafts had subcategories, so there's had to be variety. But this is the first draft where we really had to kind of strategically pick our teams based on like variety, different types of films, not just the same type of film over and over again. There was cult classics, big blockbusters, and just, masterpieces, as Nathan said. And then, some documentaries and Criterion worthy releases. I mean, it all was there. And that was something that I think this was kind of really the first draft where we saw that. But I'm going to hop over to Nick. What are your thoughts on this draft? How do you feel overall about how the draft went?
Man, I don't know how I'm gonna do, but all I know is it was fun. I think, when I look at everybody's picks, I'm like up in the air. I mean, there were moments where I was like, dang, Nate's got a really good team. There was moments when I was like, Chris has got a really good team because the wraparound. And then even you, Jack, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, there was one moment where I just about died because I realized I couldn't take that pick. I really enjoyed this, and I think that the fun thing about it is it's in the audience's hands. So that's the fun thing about it, and it's cool because it's a subjective draft and it's a subjective vote, and I think that that's amazing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm happy that we did 1994, even though I didn't know most of the movies, because now I got a lot of movies to put on my radar. So
Absolutely. And like Nick said, go over to the poll. It's only Wednesday. The poll is up until Friday. Go check it out. Go vote. Go do that right now. See who you think has the best draft. Go over there. But now I'm going to hop to my co-host, Chris. What are your thoughts, man? How do you think this draft went?
I think it's interesting. I think it's the first time I was truly devastated when you went with the Santa Claus. It ripped my heart out. And I think that was probably payback and karma in a way from the Marriage Story drama, the first ever episode. But it was a lot of fun, and I think 94, like Nathan was saying, we knew what the first 4 picks of this draft were going to be. Well, I kind of threw a wrench in there, but we knew what 4 of the first 5 were going to be. I just wanted to have a little fun with that. I'm glad I did that still. And I think that each one has a cult classic. I don't think I had an animated movie. There was 2 animated movies taken. I think Nathan had them both. But overall, yeah, 94 is a really solid year. I'd love to do this with like 99 one year, or like there's a lot of great years out there.
Or even
2020,
2014,
2014, 90, not 90. What was it? I forgot. I totally just blanked. I already said 99.
I was gonna say real quick, I think it's kind of funny that the devastation of the night for Chris was when he wasn't able to choose the Santa Claus. Like, we're talking like all these movies at the Oscars, and like that's the movie that broke him. I love that so much, and it's true. It's a great movie.
It is, because especially like it's that family movie that has a ton of nostalgia. Yeah, nostalgia.
It's gonna hit at the hearts.
I mean, this night was just filled with moments. You've got Speed, the Speed moment. You've got the Hoop Dreams moment, which is by far my favorite of the night. I'm just gonna say that off the top. That was my favorite of the night. I mean,
I have nightmares tonight from that.
Just the moments in this, were just fantastic. And I'm not going to dwell on it too much more. You guys go check it out if you haven't seen it already. Go vote on the poll. I mean, it's just fantastic draft. I think one of the funniest. Watch all the way through. It starts, the momentum gets going, and it doesn't stop until we hit the end of the draft. So go over and check that out. But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. We, a little thing called the Academy Awards, the Oscars, happened this past Sunday, and my God, what happened? I'm going to give my thoughts just real quick, and then I'm going to let the panel talk, because my thoughts are pretty clear and concise. I think overall, they ran the show really well. I love the decision they made to do all of the performances for Best Original Song in the pre-show. Never change that. Keep that way, because that drags the show by an extra half an hour. Keep it. Don't do it anymore. And I really liked a lot of the picks of the night. Chloe Zhao, Emerald Fennell for screenplay, Nomadland winning Best Picture. And I hate to say it, but even Anthony Hopkins winning Best Actor. I said this in my prediction video that I put out the day of the Oscars. I said, look, I think Chadwick commands the screen in Ma Rainey. I think he's fantastic. I think he deserves the award. I said, but if I was on the Academy, I would give my vote to Hopkins for The Father. I said, watching The Father shocked me. I was in awe of his performance. That final scene where he breaks down kills me. Every time I see screenshots or I even think about it, I am almost in tears. I literally cried at the end of that movie. I haven't cried in a movie in a long time. It's the way they did it. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. The problem is not that Hopkins won. That's not the problem, because he is very deserving of the win. It's the way they did it. And I know that an ABC executive came out today, the day that we're recording this, and said, we were hedging our bets, this, that, the other thing. No. Why would you not do Best Picture last? Why? I know that would have been a fantastic moment if Chadwick won, but it would have been fantastic either way. Mm-hmm. That takes away from Nomadland's win. And that takes away from Anthony Hopkins, because he deserves the win. And now all people are going to remember is the flack that he's going to get for winning. but it's not his fault. It's the way the Academy did it. Those are my thoughts. I'm going to leave it there, quick, concise. I'll start with Chris. What are your thoughts on what happened, transpired last night when we're recording this?
Well, first of all, I saw that there was a record low for the number of people who watched the Oscars. And I am someone who, like, ever since, I think, what was it? The La La Land Oscars, you know, that one, I've watched every single one pretty religiously since then. I just had it on in the background, and I like chunks where I didn't even watch it to just because I wasn't that interested this year. I know that the Brando critic also, I was messaging him. He put something up on his Instagram story, and like, I agree completely with what he was saying. He was talking about how it's like, this year, I don't care, whatever reason. It might be the pandemic. I don't know what it is, but my excitement wasn't there. So I wasn't really looking forward to it. And lately, like, I've just kind of been not disgusted with the Academy, but just kind of turned away from them because of certain decisions they make with what they award. And I just don't know. I don't think it deems a movie better than others. Like, I still enjoy The Social Network more than The King's Speech. But anyway, when it comes to last night, I agree, Jack. It's sickening that they didn't keep the Best Picture award last, because they set everyone up to think Boseman was going to win at the end to make it this moment, and then it wasn't. And then Joaquin Phoenix being the guy out there, like, you know, it's Joaquin. He's kind of an awkward guy anyway. So I almost felt bad for him having to be the person to deliver that news. It was just tragic, and like, it further deters me from wanting to really watch the Oscars moving forward, which is sad because I like the history behind it. But anymore, I'm just like, it's a bummer.
Yeah, and I'll hop over to Nathan now. What are your thoughts on the night as a whole?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I think I really like what you said about the original songs being played in the pre-show. I think that's an amazing move, and I think they should continue to do that. But I'm going to add a few thoughts to what's already been said, specifically, obviously, with the last three awards of the night, having Best Picture be the third to last instead of the last. I was thinking just right now as we were talking of like comparing it to why that's such a big problem. When you all first watch Avengers Infinity War for the very first time, when the movie ended, you weren't thinking about the cool fight sequence they had in New York City at the beginning of the movie when they come to Earth. You were thinking about that crazy cliffhanger, that finale where all the Avengers died. And what the Oscars did to us is they announced the Best Picture winner third to last. And so it was a passive thought. I had forgotten about Best Picture. I was like, okay, cool, Best Picture. By the time they announced Anthony Hopkins, it felt, I'm not comparing it to the cliffhanger of Avengers Infinity War, but it felt like that's all I could think about. And I feel like it was an injustice to Chadwick Boseman. It was an injustice to Anthony Hopkins. And it was an injustice to Nomadland and Chloe Zhao, and like celebrating her victory. And so I made a video on my channel last night talking about it. It was a very impromptu video, but something that I mentioned is that, like, I have a theory that the Academy purposely did it this way. And I got a lot of comments saying that the Academy doesn't even know what the votes are. It's a gamble. But I still stand by what I said, because even if it's a gamble and they don't know if 100% Chadwick Boseman is going to win, why take that risk? Like, why put yourself in that position? Because now look what has happened. There's been an uproar. But I will say I'm happy that the media overall has responded positively towards Anthony Hopkins, because I was scared it would be the opposite. And I feel like a lot of people, for the most part, have been saying, look, everyone, like, the Oscars messed up, not Anthony Hopkins. Like, don't be mad at him. Be mad at the way they formatted the show.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I really do. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything that's been said. Anthony Hopkins actually put out a video this morning, basically his acceptance of the Oscar, and the fact that he did a little tribute to Chadwick Boseman was very, very nice of him. He did not have to do that. This is on the producers. That's who it's on. I mean, more than anything. And Steven Soderbergh was one of the producers, which is insane to me. I understand why they did it that way, what they were trying to do, but you don't take risks like that. I mean, because the real people that I feel bad for is Chadwick Boseman's family more than anything else. Because you got their hopes up. They were thinking, oh, look, Chadwick's going to win this award, and it's going to be amazing. Like, this cements his legacy. And then, you feel awful because he doesn't win. For me, I knew it was going in. It was going to be either Chadwick Boseman or Anthony Hopkins. I would have been fine with either or. I picked Chadwick Boseman to win just because I felt like because the Oscars is trying to diversify themselves. And so I was like, both of them give amazing performances. And it's like, at times I'm like, I prefer this one over the other one. But I'm happy Anthony Hopkins won. It's just the way that it went about should have never happened. And this is the problem with the Academy. They don't know why their ratings drop. It's because you do things like this. You continually drop the ball. And the in memoriam section was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. The fact that they were skimming over all of these people really fast, and then they got to Sean Connery and Chadwick Boseman, and it was slowed down. To me, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth if I'm the family of any one of those actors or people who worked in film that passed away. Because even though, like, obviously I love Chadwick Boseman, obviously I love Sean Connery, their iconic legacies will continue to live on forever. The thing is like, you shouldn't be putting weight towards one person over the other, that this person's death is more important than that person's. They completely dropped the ball with that. They also didn't even include the girl from Glee, Naya Rivera, which is crazy to me that they didn't put that in. And they constantly do these things that it's just like they don't. It's like they don't understand why people get so frustrated and why people are leaving and why a younger crowd doesn't want to watch the Oscars. It's because of things like this. I got 16 out of 23 right. I mean, the cool thing for me, the cool moment for me last night, to be honest, was seeing that I got both documentary picks right. I don't even know how. I literally guessed. I hadn't watched either of those movies. I picked My Octopus Teacher because it sounded funny. And then I picked Colette because it was like the first name I saw. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go with that. And I got those right. And I was like, that's a pretty cool moment. Other than that, like, I don't know. After everything that happened at the end, it just really kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest. And I can't really think of anything but those last 40 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I echo what you said. I mean, I did pretty well in my predictions as well. I was pretty happy about that too. But I mean, it's just the way that they botched that ending. I mean, it's like most of you guys have said, it's horrendous. I mean, that can't happen. And like, it's like Nick said, how does Chadwick's wife feel right now? I mean, she was there. She was gonna give an acceptance speech. Like, you're that's just, come on. And then they say it, and then it's like, okay, goodbye.
Yep.
That's like, it's not good.
And I don't want to take away from like the good things, because like Daniel Kaluuya, in my opinion, gave the best performance of the year. I had been saying it. They didn't give him the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. I probably would never watch the Oscars again. I would have been that mad. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet right now. Like his whole speech about, I'm happy my mom and my dad had sex and had me. Like, that was amazing. I couldn't stop laughing. What an awesome person. What an awesome human being. Happy he won. I knew him since he was on Skins, which was a show in the UK. And he was a side character. And I knew that he was going big places. I love him. I'm happy he won.
Yeah, and then that's what I was going to say next. I said, not all was bad. There was some really great moments. Like you already said, Daniel Kaluuya, one of the best performances of the year. I think he was a lock, but it was rightfully so. He deserved that Oscar. It was finally his time. He deserved it. You've got Yu Jung-yu winning Best Supporting Actress, which was awesome. She's fantastic as well. I mean, Chloe Zhao, Nomadland. Frances McDormand was a big surprise. She was like maybe number 4 on my list of ones to win. But I kind of vibed with that as well. Still, I was like, you know what? She was great in that movie. And like, I already echoed Emerald Fennell winning Best Screenplay, Promising Young Woman getting some love. There were goods. It wasn't all bad. And I'll just ask any of you. You guys can sound off. I mean, what were some of the goods? We've already mentioned, Nick already mentioned Kaluuya, but what were some of the positives of the night? Because I don't think it was all negative. I think it ended very negatively, but there was some good. What do you guys think?
I think one of the things we've already mentioned is the original songs being played before. I think that was handled very well. And Daniel Kaluuya's speech. I'm trying to think of other things. Just watching, if you just watch Chloe Zhao throughout the night, it's hilarious. Like, she does so many funny little things. Like, she claps at the wrong moment, and then she like gets really embarrassed about it. But I'm trying to think of other things that really stood out to me. I thought it was cool that they were able to handle it in these situations. That was more like everyone at a little dinner table. I missed the Kodak Theater, but it was cool that they handled it this way.
I think another thing for me that I really liked was John Batiste for Soul. I mean, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they were nominated for two. For two, they were nominated twice. But having John Batiste there, he seems like a really down to earth guy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next, because that was really cool that they let him just kind of take the floor, have that moment. And you could tell that the people who had already won Oscars, that they were excited for the people who were brand new at winning Oscars, and so they let them have that moment to be able to say their piece and everything. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, and I will say John Baptiste's his speech, the way he started it was kind of one of the highlights for me. He said God gave us 12 notes, the same 12 notes, the same 12 notes that Bach had, same 12 notes that all these famous musicians and composers have had. And I was like, damn, that's deep. But I mean, but for real, I mean, I think there were some great moments, and I am glad Soul took it home, because Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross were up for two. So I'm glad that the one where someone else was also up got to take it home. So it wasn't just both of them. It was also John Baptiste. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I mean, the night definitely started better than it finished. I think the pacing was a lot better at the beginning. I think it started to slow down a little bit midway to the end. But I mean, I don't know. I don't like to talk about it because it just gives me such a sour taste in my mouth. I mean, that's going to shroud the Oscars until next year. And thankfully, we're less than a year away, because I'm hoping it'll be in February again next year. So we've got not too much time left. I'm already on the Mass 2022 train, because that's the most amazing movie I've seen in years at Sundance. And I just, if Jason Isaacs doesn't win an Oscar next year, I'm going to riot and never watch the Oscars again. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how to move on from that. It's just,
I know the scene stealer for me was the West Side Story teaser trailer.
Yeah,
stole the Oscars for me as someone who was just kind of passively watching in the background. It's gonna be great. I think that will be at the upcoming Oscars. I think Spielberg might actually get a director nom for all we know, and that would be amazing, because I think he's been in a slump for me. I know, Jack, I know you love Ready Player One. I think it's fine. I think that it's an all right movie. I've only seen it that one time in theaters, but it's not like terrible, but it's just not that level I expect from the Spielberg movie. But yeah, I love the teaser, especially having seen the original. I think that it's going to pay a lot of homage to that, but also have a modern twist. So I'm excited.
Yeah. How is Nick and Nate? How are you guys feeling about that?
It doesn't even look like a Spielberg film. It's kind of crazy to me. I was already looking forward to it, but to be honest, I'm going to be honest. The trailer for me, that sold me over. Give me my money, or take my money now. In the Heights. I want to see that movie so bad. I already wanted to see it, and I was the type of person, I said this, and Chris, I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, I don't like Lin-Manuel Miranda. Then I watch Hamilton. Then I start watching my other stuff, and I'm like, I'm an idiot. How did I ever like Lin-Manuel Miranda? I'm on the Lin-Manuel Miranda train. The guy can do no wrong, in my opinion. I can't wait for In the Heights. It looks so good, and we get that like in a couple months. Oh gosh, give it to me now.
Yes, agreed completely, dude. I can't wait. This is like the year of the musical out of nowhere. I think we're getting like an animated Sony musical called like Vivo or something. I don't know, but I think it's just announced it's going to Netflix. That's another topic for another time. But
isn't Spike Lee making a musical about like Viagra or something?
I have no clue.
He did not even make that up, I swear.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Is it Lin-Manuel making one with Andrew Garfield for Netflix?
That's like Boom Boom or whatever. It's like
Tick Boom or something.
Yeah.
But I was gonna also bring up Encanto, which is coming from Disney this year as well. Also composed the music by Lin-Manuel Miranda as well. So I mean,
did the guy ever sleep?
No, I don't think so.
Oh man.
I mean, but he is now on the absolute mountain of cash he was given by Disney for the rights for Hamilton. So
I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, musicals this year. I mean, this year is going to be very interesting. Which we're saying this year, which is weird because we're already in like to May, so we're already almost halfway through the year. But now, since this Oscar season's over, we're now talking like towards next year. This this next Oscar season is going to be very interesting because you've got some of like the Oscar season movies from this year that didn't get thrown into the pool, like a Mass, like some of these other ones that premiered at like Sundance and South by Southwest that are going to be in contention. Then you've got all these big blockbusters that were pushed back from last year, like a Dune, that are going to be in contention. And then you've got next Oscar season's movies, like in October, November, and December, that are also going to be in contention in February next year. So I'm very intrigued. This year, obviously, it was not as exciting. We did not have a big pool, which I still tend to believe the pool was actually not so bad. I think the best picture race was actually, we knew it was going to be Nomadland, but all the nominees were actually really solid. Like I said in my video, I gave the lowest score that anyone of them got was an 85 out of 100. But next year is definitely going to be a resurgence. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But I think that's kind of it, guys. I mean, like I said to everyone, this is going to be a shorter episode, but I want to thank, I'll start with Nick and Nate. I want to thank you guys for being, great guests on Movie Drafts, coming on the podcast real quick tonight. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. This was a blast.
And make sure you guys go check out that Movie Draft. Their rivalry is unmatched. All-time Movie Draft, guys, all-time Movie Draft. And of course, to my awesome Movie Draft co-host, Chris, thank you for coming on again tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the podcast as well. I wanted to make this statement real quick. I think the age of like the epic, beloved Best Picture winner by everyone in the world is gone, and that's just something we have to move on from. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I don't know if that's going to spark controversy, but the Return of the Kings, the 94 films, the Gladiator, Rocky, I think it's done, and that's just the changing movie industry, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You might be right. But guys, I'm going to leave the links to all three of them down below in the description. Go check them out. They're all fantastic at what they do. But guys, thank you for watching once again. Another week, another great movie draft, another great podcast. Go vote on the poll. Go see who has the best 1994 movie draft. Guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week for another episode of the FinaticFilms podcast.